Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Wong Chat. We are on number 41, I think. Awesome stuff. We are live on Twitch right now, so if you want to watch this show, always come on. We have the show usually on Tuesday, Thursday at 6 p.m. Pacific time, and that's changed recently, but hopefully y'all can still catch up. Of course, you can listen to this on Spotify, on iTunes, and other many great podcast platform that I'm sure you're all already using because everyone has a podcast these days. It's kind of ridiculous. Of course, you can also follow me and my guests on Twitter, Instagram, and all the social media. So please do that. And tonight we have Barbara Dunkelman, and she's a great, what to say? Not just a great friend. She does so many great things. Great personality, great model, just everything, and a great voice actress. Like you have heard, even if you haven't seen her, you might have heard her voice before. She does so many things. So it's easier for me to let her explain herself. So I'll let her describe what she does. Hello, dear.
Hello. Man, I should get you to introduce me everywhere. I was just like, "Woo, Martin, thank you."
I tell my guests to, but I ad-lib that every single time. Just like, shit, what are they? I'm like, I don't know. They just do good stuff.
Cool.
And I'm just so happy to be like, oh, lucky enough to be. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about what you guys do and everything. Like, it's just a chill show. Just we'll all hang out kind of thing. Yeah.
I got my bev. It's white wine. It looks like water, but that's a trick.
So. See, here's the problem though. I get red if I drink alcohol.
I had a friend like that in college. Anytime you would have any alcohol, just bright red.
Are they Asian?
Yes.
Yep. The Asian glow. There is one way to not get it. One way is just taking Pepsid.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Pepsid actually works. So like Pepsid C or whatever, or those little pill. Because for some reason it just counteracts it or something. But there was a problem. I tried it I used it a few times already by now. But the first time I tried it, I got really drunk. Not because of what it does. It's not because of how to interact with alcohol. But apparently, I realized I subconsciously slow down on drinking. Because I can drink a lot. But I subconsciously slow down drinking whenever I get red and hit up because of drinking. Right? But because I didn't have that, every shot was the first shot. So I think I have like 7 to 9 shots within an hour. Like after the 5th one, you lost count. So
yeah, for sure. I mean, after 2, I'm such a lightweight. Like I don't drink very often. This is my first drink in a long time. I think I had like a sip of a beer last week, but I don't drink unless I'm feeling social and stuff like that. And I was like, I'm going to be on Martin's show tonight, so I want some wine. I'll crack it open.
Yeah. No, because I used to go to events every other week, and every other weekend is industry party or drinking or some kind of stuff I have to go to. So it kind of helped me build my tolerance. But that means
now we're not doing that.
I know. I'm worried once everything's open back up and that I'm back to going to con or going to events. I'm like, I'll take like 2 sips. Like, oh no.
I'm done. I know. I was thinking about that. We actually, with everything going on in the world, we just announced that RTX 2020 had to get canceled this year. We originally postponed it to September. But because of, the state of the United States and specifically Texas right now, as we were talking right before the show, how cases are just increasing like crazy ever since they reopened. Shocker. We had to cancel RTX just to be safe. And I was thinking about it. I'm like, man, that probably is going to be really good for my liver because RTX especially, man, I'm drinking the whole weekend.
I have never had a chance to go to RTX because it's always the same time as Anime Expo or something happening.
Yeah.
Or else I would, but I might do it one of these days. I kind of have to. The crazy thing is that like I know like how exciting it is for everyone that's involved and everyone that's at the event. Like it's pretty crazy.
It's just like it's one of those weekends where, and I'm sure you've had experiences like this, especially with as many cons as you go to. But it's you start the weekend. And it's just nonstop until Sunday night when you just crash.
Yep.
And it's just like, oh my, I don't remember the last 72 hours, what I did, what I said, where I went, anything. It was just a blur.
It's one of those things that I don't want to relax until I'm 100% sure it's like, we're done, right? Because like if I'm not done, I can't relax. If I relax, I will be just completely pass out.
It's only that moment when you realize when you're like, okay, I'm completely done. Your body just shuts down and basically goes back into like I'm off now. Off mode.
Yep. But that's the thing. That was my life like before all of this every other week.
Yeah. I can't imagine what it feels like. I know, my boyfriend Trevor and I were talking about how like it's weird not to be traveling at all when, especially when you're in a position or a career path that involves a lot of travel. Like I'm sure you would go to a different city or state every weekend for cons or for your work. And it's just crazy to be spending this much time at home. I'm at the point now where once things start to open back up and get back to normal, like actually back to normal where things are safe again, I feel like I'm gonna be agoraphobic, or I'm just scared to leave the house after this.
Yeah, like after you leave the house for like more than 5 hours, like I need to be home. This is not right. This doesn't
Scared.
feel
I don't
right.
want to go anywhere.
Yeah, I don't know what to do. Yeah. Like I think the good thing is that I think because of how much travel we have done before, I think our immunity system is very good.
Yeah.
Immune system, because I see so many people from all around the world. So I'm like, I got to be able to like, I don't know. I'm not sure if that helps. We know so little about the virus and everything, but
I know. All I really hope for is that like people stay as safe as possible, and we talk about wearing masks and how that helps prevent the spread of it. Obviously, staying home is the best thing you could do, but it's understandable that not everyone can do that based off what they do for work and what their company is doing and mandating. But the more we could slow the spread, the more time it gives for people to do research on it, to look for treatment, to look for potential vaccine, and to not overwhelm the hospital. So it's not really about, okay, let's all stay home and the virus will go away forever, because I feel like that's somewhat unrealistic these days, because the whole country will never comply to something like that. But it's more about just not overwhelming the system. And I think that's something that doesn't get communicated enough.
Such an American thing to do. Like if someone tell you not to do something, and being American is like, what? I'm going to do exactly that because you told me I can't.
I know. It's like they're just like a petulant child. They're like, you told me no, so I'm going to do exactly that.
I feel like a better way for them should be like, if you do this, you're going to be a hero. And then make people feel like, oh, praising them. Then they might be like, oh yeah, I'm a hero. I want to do that. Yeah.
We had, leadership or a president that would, think about the safety and the well-being of the country. That would be nice. And not trying to pit people against each other. And somehow make a deadly virus into some type of political debate.
Yeah, like health should not be something on like we already have a lot of science issue that become a political debates. Like, that's not how this work. But then now we go into health and like people's livelihood and like that's life, and just like this is a party's problem. Like, no, it's not.
I love how Princess Cake Boy in chat said America is just an overgrown teenager.
That's always have been the case. I feel here's my concept too. How America was founded was a rebellious teenager who left parents, the British, came to America, and then we're like, dude, you left your house and trying to run away. It's like, I can start my own band. And it's like, nah, everyone's like, nah, it's gonna work. And then it actually worked, and we're like, oh fuck, like that actually worked. I'm like, okay, then just continues that concept forever. They never had
never thought of it that way, man.
So that does really well for America for the last 300 years, and then we'll see how it goes. I don't know. It's kind of weird. Yeah.
All I could say is I just hope people vote when it comes to November, and that I think what happened in 2016 is people assumed something would happen and didn't bother voting. And then
even the British did it. A lot of them did not agree with Brexit, and they're like, oh, I didn't vote, I thought it's not gonna work, and then it happened. Yeah, you'd be surprised what people who are very impassioned by something, the lengths they'll go to get it done. And also, I think there are people who just need to be more passionate about it. Old people also have a lot of time. They will vote. And they have some kind of they have different idea than a lot of younger generation, and also they hold on to it, and they're not gonna change. So yeah, a lot of young people do not vote. That is a problem.
Yeah. So if you're watching right now, vote. Especially if you're in America, of course. But whatever country you're in, it's important to vote if you can. I still don't have citizenship in the US, so I cannot vote yet, which kills me, which is why I'm vocal about it, because if I could be vocal about it, maybe that'll convince at least one person who wasn't going to go out and vote to vote. So
Wait, what is your nationality?
I'm Canadian.
Sounds about right. There's lots of Canadian that came down, especially in the entertainment industry.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We invaded.
Yeah, I'm from a different country, a different world, a different culture completely. And yeah, dude, able to vote and have a say, like freedom of speech, is great. Like Americans
Amazing.
don't know how great it is, and they should really protect it while that is still protectable. You know,
I'm seeing a lot of Dunkelman / Wong 2020. So let's go for it, Martin.
we're running. That's what we're gonna do.
We probably can't because we're not American citizens, or at least I'm not. I don't know
right.
if you got your citizenship or not, but
I am, but the problem is I'm not sure what is the VP like requirements.
I think you need to have been born in America, which
I know
neither
that's
of
for
us were.
president, but neither
for
of us.
president.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not sure about the VP status.
True.
Yeah,
look that
yeah. But however, if something happened to the president, like they left or something happened, the VP does take over, but did they like instantly also disqualify because if they're not, I don't know.
Interesting. I know you also have to be at least 35,
Yep. Mm-hmm.
which
Yeah.
I won't ask an age. I am about to be 31 in actually a week from today. I will be 31 years old, so I'm getting close.
I'm lucky. I have the genetic that I always look like I am 18 for a while, and then
I was
suddenly
like, Martin, you could be 18 or you could be 60. I have no idea.
like depends how I do my face or my hair. I could be either look like I am 15 or 51. It's just,
You look perpetually young. Like,
yeah, which is
that's
great.
a gift.
Like I look at my old photos on my phone yesterday, and I was scrolling through it from like 6 or 7 years ago. Like, I look older in this photo than I am now. Also depends on my hair length. Like now my hair is shorter. I look a little bit younger too. So
yeah.
it changes all the time. It's great. It's fun.
It's like a fun game you get to play with yourself.
Oh yeah, like every time I like cut my hair or like change my style, people's like, "What happened? Did I time travel? Did you time travel?"
You're like a new person. Wow. I know. I've been getting really bored of my hair. Sitting in quarantine, not doing anything, not going out, and just like looking at myself on camera all day, wanting a change. And so I actually bought an overtone color. I bought a lavender purple, so I might try it if I'm brave. But even that,
imagine you mess it up.
The thing is that it's hard to mess up overtone because it's just essentially a conditioner with color in it. And so it eventually washes out after a couple washes, and it's also very light. So part of me's like, if I screw it up, whatever, it'll fade out after a couple weeks. It won't be the end of the world.
Yeah, and a few weeks is not that long now because it's just, I don't know.
Could you believe it's almost July?
It's just crazy. Yeah, like it's I feel like when they announce about like the quarantine and stay shelter at home or whatever you call it in your state, it feels like out of nowhere, and it feels like really long ago. But because it was pretty long ago, it's like back in March.
It's crazy. It's so crazy. Like weeks have been going by like a blink.
And they were like, it's only gonna be a month or a week,
It's crazy. Like it'll be Christmas tomorrow for all I know. That's what it's gonna feel like.
All the conventions are canceled and everything, and I don't know when is the next time it's gonna be like feel more like not even normal, but feel more like, oh, this is a regular thing, like I don't know.
It feels like, and I hate saying it, but I feel like it'll still be like maybe another year or two until it's like legitimately back to normal. Like once there is some either type of treatment or vaccine, which I know the expert said it's like a year to a year and a half minimum away from when this all first started. Which,
like,
it sounds
unless they
discouraging.
force it, because not only they have to find out what works, they have to test it and then see how long it works and try out a bunch of different stuff. Even if we have it today, I heard like experts saying, even if we have the vaccine today, like they develop one, it would still take them at least like 2 or 3 months to making sure it works for the public. And then that's only if everything works smoothly.
Yeah, it's trials, it's testing, it's also distribution, which is a whole nother thing, and also prioritizing people who should get it, like the elderly or people who are immunocompromised should absolutely get it first. But then
how do you decide that? You can't. Everyone's like, "Yep, I'm elderly. I am 65. I'm Martin Wong, and I'm 65."
You get me?
I still get ID check when I buy lotteries.
Yeah.
Sometimes, I buy lotteries, I buy alcohol. They're like, "Can I see your ID?" I'm like, How nice.
You'll be asked that forever, and I'm so jealous. They don't ask for my ID anymore. I'm at that point.
Yeah, do you have one day it's like, wait, you really don't want to check? Are you sure? Like, let me show you. Let me just show you. Like,
I remember recently I actually went to buy alcohol. This is pre-pandemic. And the guy asked for my ID, and I went, oh, thank you. Like, oh, you think I'm under 21? Even though I know they have to technically ask for ID if you're, I think, under 45. They still have to ask, but
yeah, like if they think you look like under, is it 45 or 50? They're like, we still have to look, but
yeah, somewhere around.
I feel like that's a nice gesture.
Yeah, I feel like if I was someone in that position and I see someone come in, I would always ask for their ID to make them just feel good. Like always.
I know they do that a lot of those breakfast places, especially when they ask like seniors, like, "Oh, ladies, you need the senior discount. I need to see your ID. You do none of you look like a day over 18."
That's how you get tipped well.
Yeah, but now that everyone wear a mask, I'm like, that's kind of stupid too. So like, it's weird. Like they're gonna check your ID, but they can't tell if that's you with the mask on.
I know. Do you have to like pull it down? You're like,
they can't ask you to do that. You know, I do it just to show them if they have a glass, so I don't feel like endangering them. But like, hi, it is me. I do the smile because I do smile in my picture.
You give them the ID and then step 3 feet away and then
look,
flash your mouth at them.
It's me, Martin Wong.
It's me.
Yeah. So yeah, the problem is I don't know. We're gonna see how long this is gonna last, and I don't think we're gonna get out of it anytime soon. And it depends on if business can adapt. How is RTX doing right now? Are they good at adapting the new quarantine stay-at-home model?
For Rooster Teeth?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been we went into action pretty quickly. It was around mid to end of March where people started seriously discussing of like, it looks like we are going to have to transition to work from home. We don't know for how long. I think a lot of us assumed it would be maybe a couple weeks. And so we're just like, okay, like that's no problem. Make sure we got the equipment we need, like, you know, get a crappy webcam for the time being. And if who needs a microphone, like let's prioritize the people who are on a lot of podcasts, whatever it is. And so we definitely transitioned quickly, but as time went on and we realized this thing was a lot more serious than we had thought originally, and that would be lasting a lot longer than we thought. That's when we started to get really serious about like, all right, we got to do a lot more live streaming since, you know, a lot of people are stuck at home and we want to make sure to keep everyone entertained and keep people, you know, feeling like they belong somewhere, because there's a lot of people who are stuck at home who have nowhere to go and nothing to do and no people to talk to. So we opened up our live streaming for everybody. It's not like an exclusive feature on the site anymore. And then started basically adapting all of our content to be stuff we could make at home. Including like doing a lot more gameplay content, a lot more like tabletop simulator instead of playing board games in person, which has been interesting.
I tried it.
Yeah.
I'm like, the first time I played, like, how am I clicking on things and grabbing things really confusing, and
it's definitely like mechanics you got to get used to.
Yeah, I think VR might be easier, but
probably.
Not everyone has VR yet. So.
Yeah, no, I think one person from our group has VR, so maybe we could convince the company to send us some VR if we're gonna keep doing this stuff.
It'd be so much better. Have you seen people play VR like Beat Saber?
Yeah.
It's really cool how they do it, like the webcam and everything.
It looks like good exercise too, which I'm kind of like jealous about. I could use some of that right now.
Yeah. So I don't know. I might get one. We'll see. Because like I do have a few green screens, so I can actually just roll down the whole thing. So like I'm actually in the game and play it. But I think because of this quarantine thing, I think the push for VR now suddenly get a lot bigger than it used to be.
I think so too. I think it's been interesting to watch certain technologies really take off while this quarantine has been going on. And we were talking right before this about so much equipment has been picked up, and even stuff like home gym equipment people have been like buying out of stock at this point, because people are at home and they want to be working out and staying healthy, and so at home gym equipment is hard to come by these days because of it.
It is ironic how some, or not, I wouldn't say ironic, but it's kind of crazy how some companies benefit a lot because of quarantine. You know, For example, Zoom definitely would be doing very well because everyone is using Zoom and they're able to talk to other school and companies say, hey, this is the software you need for all the meetings and stuff.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's a maybe toilet paper brand. I don't know.
No, but it's interesting to see how companies are adapting. Like I got an email from, I think it was Uber, saying that they have a whole new process in place for passengers and for drivers. Like everyone has to be wearing a mask, and the driver has to actually take a photo of themselves wearing the mask to confirm with like a representative at Uber that they're clear to drive. Like there's all this stuff that's new, and that's like new technology essentially emerging from all this and businesses adapting to the changes. It's been really interesting and very impressive to see how quickly things have gone into action.
So that's how business work. If they're able to adapt, then they'll survive. If they cannot, then they're gonna die out very, very fast. Because this is a really great test. Like it's extremely so like you're either gonna make it or not at all.
True. Yep.
Like I think Ubers are still not happening in California yet. I'm not sure because my friend was telling me the other day. Like I was like, oh, just Uber over there. Like Uber is not running. I'm like, oh, right.
That's actually surprising. I thought it was definitely like an essential service to some degree.
It should be. It is a transportation. So
yeah,
I don't know.
I'd be curious about that. But yeah, we've been very fortunate, and I always say this, how I feel very lucky to be at a company and with a group of people who are still able to have work and be able to still do our jobs to, you know, not the exact same degree that we were before, but we're still able to make somewhat of the same content from home. And I see so many people, especially in the US, who are losing their jobs or whose companies are just going completely out of business because of COVID. And it's terrible. But it also makes me feel very fortunate to be in the position I am. And I do not take that for granted at all.
Oh, definitely. Like same for me too. It did change, you know, my lifestyle, my work a little bit, but there's still work here and there that's different than what I was doing that still allow me to do it. So I'm like, wow, like this is luckily, fortunately, that I can do that. And yeah, like that doesn't work for everybody. And that's why here's the thing, right? And you know, hopefully this doesn't sound too much a problem, people listening or whatever. But I think it's not we are either have to care about people's life, or B, we have to care about people's money. Like it has to be like all three. Like you have to care about, does it make sense for people to financially stable for that? Or it has to be like, are we scared of government so have too much power? Because once they have power, it's kind of hard to let go. And also, like, are people able to survive literally both financially and, you know, health-wise? So it's all three kind of together, not just like one or the other. It's not like, oh, I want the country to open back up because I want people to die. It's like, no, it's not like that.
It's definitely not as cut and dry as people are making it out to be. And I try to keep that in mind too. And I feel obviously like we come from a place of privilege because we're still able to do our job and to work from home. But I know there's millions of people who are not able to or don't have a job because of this. And so I see where people are coming from when they do want things to reopen and how, you know, they're suffering and going through this because of the situation. But I also feel like we're devaluing human life because of the economy, and people are failing to see the big picture. And I think our government is really failing the people in this country to support them in the proper way while they go through this in order to save as many lives as possible. Like I don't understand why there hasn't been something worked out with mortgage companies and rental agencies to forgive mortgage payments and rent payments for a certain amount of time, because ultimately that is what people pay the most money for every month. And if those were somehow handled by the government in a way that makes it easier for people to delay payments or whatever it is, or I don't know. It's frustrating.
Like here's the thing too, like because if people can't pay rent, they can't provide food for their family, and then they might go to debt, and then they might get into depressions, and then that could affect a lot of other things as well too. I feel like if the government has reacted even sooner and have a better plan, then we would waste actually less money, because the money that we spend on, like, you know, unemployment or all these other services that we have to create because we were delaying in helping people out, that actually going to cost us even more than what we're doing now. But again, it is first time. I'm from Hong Kong, so you know, we have to went through SARS and everything and protests. So both SARS and protests make me realize right now in America, everyone's going all this. I'm like, First time? All
You're
right.
like, been there, done that.
Yeah. It's like, all right. Yeah. Like, okay. I see how it is. All right. Don't worry. Let me give you a few tips. So
We're on a couple years delay.
Yeah. Especially with the protest stuff too. I'm like, yeah, that's like in the beginning. I was like, you guys are not doing the best way at protesting. I mean, I support you guys protesting, but let me give you some tips on how to be more efficient at it.
Yeah.
But earlier we were also talking about cancel culture stuff too. Like right now, have you heard about what happened in the gaming industry right now?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard not to know these days, especially because of, the industry I'm in and the circle that I'm in. It's pretty crazy to see all these stories coming out and people speaking up, and I think it's wonderful that people feel empowered to speak up, and I feel like we should always be there for people when they come out about these things. But on the other hand, there is cancel culture, which you and I were talking about right before the podcast, about how that could be really dangerous. And we live in a time where anybody really could say anything, and it could ruin someone's life. It could ruin someone's career, and people will jump on anything they see or any claim that they see being made, even if it's not from the person themselves, and just believe it without anything else to substantiate that. And it could be really dangerous for some people, but it's also it's hard to balance because there are so many people who are truthful and we should believe victims, but there are also people who know that and take advantage of that situation.
I think we still haven't found a good process, like a very, I wouldn't say standardized, but at least like the right approach of situation like this. The problem is people jump to extreme. I feel like every single time.
It's a very extreme reaction, and it's a very, I understand the passion and the rage behind a lot of it, and feeling like this person said that this person did this thing, so now they don't deserve anything in life. But before hearing multiple sides, before understanding the full story, I go back and forth on it because it's very much a case by case basis, of course. Someone in the chat just brought up Jenna Marbles. She's being called out for remarks she's said or videos that she's done in the past that she has since removed or apologized for. Also, comedy and the way people go about things and content has changed so much in the last 10 years. And what was okay and acceptable and funny 10 years ago is completely unacceptable in 2020. And I don't feel like there's enough forgiveness and understanding for that, and that everyone is just human and we're all navigating through life as humans trying to figure this all out together. And it's scary to know that some joke you made or something you said at the time, which was perfectly okay to make because that's what comedy was in that era,
and it's wildly popular too,
and is now something that could literally ruin your life and ruin your career for something you said 10 years ago.
See, I thought about doing comedy when this is over, like, try to do some open mic night, just like secretly, try to give it a try. But I'm also kind of worried about that too, right? Like, what is considered okay right now might not be okay 20 years from now, 10 years from now, maybe even 5, especially with changing so fast, so rapidly. So I think we need to give people a better chance to learn and to redeem themselves.
Yeah, I agree to some extent. Obviously, there are people who are just terrible people and do terrible things to people and do not necessarily deserve a second chance. But I think people are always growing and always learning, and sometimes have to make mistakes in order to learn from them. And Railtracks actually in your Twitch chat said, it's hard to know where to stand on it. People are definitely being abused, but the innocent people are being caught in the crossfire. And I think, there is no cut and dry situation to this. It's not black and white. There's a lot of gray areas within this. So I know it's a controversial topic to be talking about, but
it's a learning process for everyone. Both us. Like, it's just how we're handling it is. Unfortunately, we have a lot of victims that has to deal with a lot of abuser, and they shouldn't have to go through that. But as you said, there are also people taking advantage of it, and we do not know how to deal with either already. If a very obvious case situation, yes, cut and dry. But it's, as you said, it's not as easy. It's not black and white. There's a lot of gray area, a lot of miscommunication.
Mhm.
So we'll see. We'll see how that goes, and then we'll see what we can do to better. And maybe, as I said, I feel like we need some sort of not standard but approach. We have to have the right approach to see what is the best way to have this kind of situation. Again, first time, newer. That's people, social media, like the way it grew in social media in the last 10 years is so rapid. It changed a lot of how we deal with things.
Yeah.
Like, as I said, sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I think the whole idea of cancel culture is very dangerous. And
even Obama said it was dangerous.
it's just, I think there's too much power put in, I don't know, just social media and being able to say anything and post anything and people take it as fact. And that's happened with everything, with politics and the media and news and things people like I could literally make a graph right now in Photoshop and post it and say something about how like coronavirus cases at an all-time low, blah, 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 blah. And
it will spread. Yeah.
Someone will share that and then someone else will share that and someone else will and it'll eventually get on publications and news and it'll become fact that is completely unsubstantiated.
Isn't that how the anti-vax situation happened?
Yeah, it's just, I don't know, man. It's crazy.
And people don't look at the correction as well, too. Let's just say, I said something incorrect. As you said, like, tomorrow I said, like, coronavirus all-time low, made a chart, make it look legit. And then the next day, like, oh, sorry, that was wrong information from, 5 months ago.
And nobody will care.
Nobody care about that one. Yeah, they care about that one. And they keep on spreading that one, too, the original one where you have the incorrect information,
Yep.
So,
or just if, someone, I don't want to say anything in particular, but if someone, it's discovered that they lied about something, like, for example, giving facts on a virus or something like that, that person or that source they don't get reprimanded. They don't get canceled. But the thing that they were lying about has the potential to get canceled because they just decided to say something for fun or because they're malicious or whatever it is. It's a very dangerous game, and I always encourage people online to use their best judgment and to try to look at the facts and try to look at the history of things and just be smart. Be smart, be diligent, and just,
It's time. It's supposed to be a time-consuming process. It always was, but because of social media, we're like, oh, that's the news. That's trending right now. All right, we're going to cancel this person. We're going to instantly say, yep, that is going to be the fact because someone said so.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if you heard the story of Johnny Depp and Amber Heard.
Oh, yes. I think I was actually talking about that on Tuesday as well with my other friend. But yeah, like he has to keep quiet for such a long time.
But the crazy thing is that, with the story that came out about her being one way and him being one way and assuming that he was doing things to her and then it was discovered that it was actually the other way around, it was kind of just brushed off after that. And it's like, why would he be canceled and attacked this way? But when it was discovered that she was actually the one in the wrong, it's just like, oh.
And he lost a lot of like movie deals or like just different work because of that.
Yeah.
And it sucks. Yeah. So hopefully we'll get better at it and figure out what is the better way to handle that kind of situation in the future.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, what is the plan for you? Like any new projects coming up? Because I know you did that. You were doing that show that you had, Always Open. Is that still going on, or what is the situation with that? Or like, are you doing other projects as well?
So I'm always working on new projects. It feels like. But Always Open. Actually, we just announced that the show's going on hiatus. I don't know if it's a permanent hiatus or not, but hiatus for now. It's been going on now for 10 seasons. I know our seasons aren't full years, but we've been doing it since 2016.
Dang.
And it's a show that has a particular subject matter. We talk about relationships and sex and things of that nature. And
first of all, I just want to tell you, the set is pretty cool, okay?
Thank you.
Because I was there when you're doing a live recording once, and it's like, this is really awesome. It looked really cool. It looked very professional, and all this like setting and light and everything. Like, oh, this is awesome.
Thank you. Yeah, the art department and everyone in broadcast did such a good job with it. I just gave a direction and sent pictures and inspiration of what I liked and what I wanted, and they made it come to life. So all the credit goes to them. I was just like, I like this. Good. But no,
yes.
we have been doing it for almost 4 years now, and I love doing that show. Meryl and I absolutely love the community we've built around it and what we get to talk about and the changes we've, given to people's lives and how we've opened people's minds on certain subjects, which is, I think, the most important part because, especially in America, I think a lot of people come from very sheltered backgrounds or from areas in which they're not exposed to a lot of different types of people or different types of relationships. So it's good to be able to have a show like that exposes those types of people and situations. But, after doing a show for 4 years that kind of Meryl and I talk about the same subject matter, you start repeating yourself a lot. You start rehashing your opinions and your advice. And it becomes, at some point, like you feel like you're getting boring.
I feel the same too. Sometimes I'm worried, like, are people going to be very tired of what I'm saying? Yeah.
It's also, I think, there's a level of burnout whenever you're doing a certain project for a number of years. And with quarantine and having to do the show from home, it's a benefit in a way where you get to literally have anybody you want on the show from anywhere in the world. You don't have to pay to fly them down to Austin. But it's also hard because you're not with each other and you can't interact physically and
it's
how
not the
you
same.
want to. Yeah, it's very different.
Like I again, as you said, I enjoy doing this kind of conversation with all my friends from around the world. But I feel like if we were sitting down and talking face to face, it's gonna be even better, and it's very different. Yeah.
We basically were just, I think, at a point where we're like, we want to focus our energy on something that we could be more excited about and something new. I love doing Always Open, and I don't want to completely rule out the idea of bringing it back down the line in some capacity. So, yeah.
So if let's say you want to do something else, what would that something else look like? Do you know yet, or still figuring it out?
Still figuring it out. I think with all the changes happening right now, it's hard because we want to still make content, but we still are going to be in quarantine for quite a while. So we just want to make sure that what we do is something that is sustainable and doable right now.
And also it's entertaining for people. Yeah. The problem is that we don't have an end date. If we know exactly, like, okay, quarantine and the virus will go away in exactly 6 months and 2 days, then like, okay, I can plan for this. I can see what can we do in between and then what to do once that happens. But we, as you said, we don't know. It could be a year, it could be a year and a half, it could be 2 years. So we might have to change a lot from that. I actually don't know how you actually got into Rooster Teeth in the first place. You might have said the story many times, but
no, I'm happy to talk about it.
Yeah.
So I actually started watching Red versus Blue, Rooster Teeth's first show, when I was 15. And I fell in love with the show, and I was like, I want to find more of this stuff. So I found Rooster Teeth, the website, and I joined their community. And like that was my teenage years. It was spent on the Rooster Teeth community, talking with other fans and watching Rooster Teeth content. And when I was graduating from college, at that point, I had volunteered at a couple conventions for them. I had like selling merch at their booth and stuff like that. As well as I met a couple of the guys at different conventions and things that I would go to. And when I was graduating college in 2011, Bernie reached out to me and he was like, hey, I feel like it would make sense for us to try to find a place for you at Rooster Teeth. You've been such a big part of the community.
That must be amazing
and
when you heard that.
I was like shaking and sweating when he offered me. But obviously he's like, you're Canadian, and so I can't guarantee that we could work this out and get you a work visa to come down here. So it was definitely like a process. I got in touch with the lawyers that they had working on Gavin's work visa actually at the same time. I got approved before he did because mine was a little simpler.
This happened a lot in Canadian coming over, yeah.
Yeah, and I remember getting the notice that my visa was approved. I got like an email about it. And I just started bawling my eyes out. And I was like, I got approved. I can move to Austin. I can start this job. Oh my God. And so I just started off at Rooster Teeth in December of 2011 as the community manager. And obviously things have progressed.
Evolved a lot from there.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Does it feel like that long? Does it feel like been like almost a decade now?
It's funny because it feels so much longer and so much shorter at the same time, if that makes sense. Like there are
Yeah.
days
Oh,
where I'm just like, I
definitely.
feel like I've been at this company for my entire life, but I think that's because I started watching at 15 and I'm about to turn 31. So literally more than half my life
Half.
has been spent
Mm-hmm.
within the Rooster Teeth world.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Like that's how I feel about my cosplay stuff too. Like I've been doing cosplay photography stuff for like over 10 years. So that's like quite a chunk of time. But as you said, I feel like a very long time. At the same time, it's like that's just passing by, because like you do so many things. And like for our type of what we do, our personality, like everyone combined is that we do so many things that changes all the time. So, even like as you said, like doing always open for more than what, 4 years now, 2016, like
It
4 years.
was just shy of 4 years, yeah.
Yeah, that's again, it's also like wow, such a long time. At the same time, it's like yeah, it's very short, but let's do something different. We always trying to look for something different. So that's how we. It's. I feel like it takes a very specific personality to do so. I feel like then
It does. And I think, I mean, I'm sure you could relate to this, but hosting a show too is such a different experience than just appearing on things.
Because appearing, I feel like it's so like stress free. You show up, they talk to you, you can say whatever you want. It's like
they have
done.
questions for you. You don't have to think about anything. It's great.
Yeah, you just react to things. But for hosting, it'd be like, okay, let's do the homework, find out who they are, what do they do, and like what makes sense for them, and how do they talk. Oh man, it's
It's also like with hosting always open, it was something I had to keep in mind too, is like you had to notice when certain parts of the conversation were starting to kind of diminish, and like when to bring certain things up. And it was also like a constant interview, so you'd have to be listening really well too, of like someone brought this up, let me expand on that for you, or let's bring this up, or I noticed this is getting kind of dry over here, so let me bring this up to now freshen the show back up. So you're constantly like listening and thinking all at the same time.
And here's the thing too, like, and I realize while I'm doing this show as well is that I'll be like, oh, I have a question ready for the next thing they're gonna say after they're done with what they're saying. But then while they're saying something, it's like, wait, hold on, I want to expand on that. I'm like, great, now I forgot that already, and like I don't know where to cut back from left and right, and if I can go back to that question that I wanted to ask ahead of time. So it's back and forth.
I agree.
Yeah. What kind of I don't know. I'm new to this, both streaming, hosting, talking to people, and like in this kind of format. What is the best way you think people should do so? Like, is there any suggestions? Because you sound like very experienced in it now.
Oh man. I think that I don't know if it's necessarily as straightforward as that. Like I don't think it's a round hole, round peg, and you just got to find that right peg for it. I think it's different for everybody. I think live streaming is always fun because you could interact with people live and get feedback instantly. YouTube is always hard because I feel like it's hard to break through on YouTube these days, and the algorithm I think tends to favor certain channels and certain people a little more than others, which is a whole nother story. But I don't know. I feel like as many collaborations as you could do is always great because you bring in new audience that way, you bring in new viewers, you bring in people who might not have known about the show before. So I think what you're doing, like bringing in guests from all over the industry and people who also kind of make sense within the realm, it's not just anybody. I think that's the right way to do it, honestly.
Do you stream as well? Because I know your work is already like streaming already. But
I don't have my personal streaming. I don't have like my own Twitch or my own anything. I have my own YouTube channel technically, but I haven't uploaded to it in years. Yeah, everything is with Rooster Teeth.
You have so many of those already. It'll be so much to handle.
I know. I feel like it'd be overwhelming in that way.
So, do you get too tired of like? What is your other outlets then? Like, of course, like your work, you're very passionate about your work. But what is something that you are more passionate about too as well? That is outside of like work related stuff, or is everything just becomes just work?
It's been hard these days because we're just at home. I love traveling when I can, obviously. Going to conventions has always been so much fun for me, but just seeing more of the world is something I really want to do. I have been playing a lot of Animal Crossing during quarantine.
Did you hear about the new summer thing?
I did, yeah, I'm so excited.
Seashell and everything.
You can swim. Man, any update to that game would be amazing because I've been playing over 300 hours at this point, and I'm like, okay, now what do I do?
Yeah, they're gonna have 2 patches. Like this is the first one. They're gonna have a second one coming out. So I know people
Yeah.
are very excited about it. I don't know. I haven't really got into Animal Crossing. Uh, it's so peaceful and it's kind of make me feel like it's nice. That's the problem. It's so nice. I'm like, I don't know. I want to do this. It's so too mellow for me. I feel like.
I think it's been nice for me because I've been so overwhelmed with the world these days. Excuse me, these days. Obviously with just the shit show that is 2020, and being able to like put my phone down and put my computer, turn it off, and just being able to go into a world where everyone is happy, where you could fish and plant flowers and talk to other animal friends, and just it's like a nice escape from reality.
Good escape.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've been starting watching more Netflix show because I borrow my my friend's Netflix account, so now I can actually start watching more stuff. So I've been I just started Black Mirror yesterday.
Oh yeah,
Like
I love that show.
It's good, but like don't spoil anything yet. But I only watched like the first 2 episodes. I'm like, dang, that is good. Like good writing, good storytelling. Yeah. Actually,
the good thing about that show too is every episode is different. Like there are some things that are intertwined, but you could watch any episode in any order, really.
And you don't have to. So it's kind of like a newer version of the Twilight Zone, kind of,
Yeah.
But
that's
more on the
probably
tech
a good way
side.
to put it.
Yeah. Have you thought about doing more like feature films and stuff like that? Show? I mean, I know you do a show, but like film? Movie?
Yeah, I mean, I was technically in, I think, one movie. I did a movie called Bloodfest that we produced at Rooster Teeth, which was one of the most fun experiences I've ever been through. And I loved it. But I also don't really consider myself an actress. I don't know, like, I feel like it's something I never set out to do. Voice acting is something I always was curious about and, like, thought that would be really fun to do if I ever had the opportunity. And then Ruby came along and Monty gave me that incredible opportunity to voice Yang. And that has opened the doors to other voice acting opportunities. But acting is something I never thought I would ever get to do because it was never something I practiced or tried or studied or anything like that. I think guess I'm comfortable on camera more or less, and so that translates to acting in a bit, and then getting to do small things within Rooster Teeth like shorts and movies like Bloodfest has definitely made me think like, is this something I could try? Maybe. I don't know. It's definitely not a priority right now.
Actually, then tell me more about Ruby, because I was there when it kind of started. Like I know a lot about it. How was your experience with that?
It was, oh my god, Ruby has been probably the most life-changing experience that I've had, other than, of course, being hired at Rooster Teeth in the first place. But yeah, it started off with Monty approaching me at the office saying like, hey, how would you feel about voicing a badass Goldilocks character in a show I'm working on? And I was like, yeah, that sounds fun. Like, not really thinking anything of it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't even think he like knew the name would be Ruby yet, or maybe he did, but he didn't even tell me about the show. He just said like, there's this character, she's like Goldilocks, I want you to voice her. I'm like, cool. Not realizing it's one of the 4 main characters of the show that he was working on. But getting to be on that show and getting to be part of the community that has formed around Ruby is just so supportive and wonderful, and to see how the show has taken off, not only in America, but across the world.
Have you seen those like figures in Japan?
It's mind-blowing. I never thought I would be voicing a character that's big in Japan.
You can tell people, hi guys, I'm big in Japan.
I know, right? Yeah, it's quite the accomplishment. But we obviously wouldn't be anywhere without the incredible fan base that we have for the show, and people spreading the good word of Ruby around the world. So I feel very lucky.
Is it hard, because is that your first big, I guess, voice acting job? And like, how do you channel the character? Like, do you have to pretend to be someone else, or like, what's that like?
The good thing is that a lot of Yang's characteristics and personality are based off of me, which is very weird to say. But luckily,
make it based on your concept of you, maybe.
A little bit. There are definitely aspects of myself that Monty put into the character, and that Miles and Carrie, who write the show as well, have put into Yang as a character. And luckily, they just liked my normal speaking voice for her, so I don't have to change too much for that, which is great. It makes things a lot easier for me. So it's always funny when we do conventions or meet people in person, and I talk to them, and they're like, "Oh, you sound just like Yang," and I'm like, "Yeah, that's just my voice."
That's great. You don't have to like do a special voice, and it's like, yeah, that's just me how I talk, and just a normal day. And
Yep.
so script reading for you, just like, yep, this is table reading. It's like, yeah, cool. I'm just gonna read the line just the way it is.
Yep. It's amazing. It's so much fun. I love the direction that the show has been going in. I love getting to experience everything that's happened to my character and the other characters in the show, and it's like I get to fangirl about it with everyone else too, which is always a treat.
Because like, how far are they written the story, like ahead of releasing or like producing?
I usually get like between 4 to 6 scripts at a time. So we'll usually maybe do 2 to 3 voiceover sessions for a volume. So we usually do like the first half of the volume in one big chunk of recording, so like an hour to 2 hours, and then the second half of the volume in another recording. I'm actually gonna be going in tomorrow. It's like a contactless voiceover session. So like the audio engineer will like open the door for me when I arrive, and then like I'll come in and close it, and they'll already be in like the sound studio, and I'll come in. Like there's no interacting basically to keep it safe. But yeah, tomorrow I'm going in, I think, to record the second half of the volume. So I usually tend to just read like the scenes I'm in because I don't want to spoil myself from everything else that's happening. I like to watch along with the audience.
You should do some like actually watch along like nights or something. I feel like those would be exciting.
Yeah, it would be really fun actually. I haven't really considered like doing content like that, but I feel like that would be really fun. Good way to interact with the community. Time
to also restart your YouTube channel.
I know. I wonder if Rooster Teeth would sue me of using their content.
Dude, there's a big DMCA going on with Twitch situation too. Have you heard of
really?
that?
No.
So I don't know which label. It might be Warner Brothers or a bunch of different record labels. They suddenly decide this one day, like 2 weeks ago, it's like, all right, we're gonna DMCA strike every single person that has our music in their clips. Because Twitch actually, they mute the part. They have a system, a software that does mute the part that is playing just a song. But they don't do that for clips. So then it get kind of weird and confusing. So then people actually getting DMCA strike. The weird ones for me are the one who are playing the games that have songs in it. You know, like any rhythm games. Like for example, dancing game, Just Dance. One of my friends, she does Just Dance content. So, you know, in Just Dance, you dance to a song, and of course, you're not really saying anything over it. You're dancing over it. And then...
Is that, what's her name? Little... something?
Siha, yep.
Little Siha, yeah.
Yep, Avery. Yeah, she got a strike because of that as well, too. And then I'm like, what? And she's also like an ambassador for them as well, for Just Dance. So I'm like, this is gonna get confusing and weird now. So they're trying to figure out how to handle that situation.
I never understand that mentality because the only thing they're doing is providing like exposure for that game or for that content, and that just sucks that would affect him. I don't know what's going on too. I think TikTok is also experiencing some type of issue with copyrighted music, which is like TikTok's whole thing.
So TikTok is smart and interesting, and I feel like Twitch might adopt the same model. TikTok in the beginning, they of course steal lots of music content and stuff like that. Then people got mad and like, okay, fine. Then they start using only songs that people give them right to. So you hear lots of indie songs from it because of that, and remixed and stuff like that. And then TikTok got so big, and we've seen cases where songs got really popular because of TikTok. And from that, now they actually go to companies, or companies go to them. They're like, hey, can we promote our new songs on your platform on TikTok? And they're like, yeah, TikTok's like, yeah, sure, pay us.
Yeah.
So it's a complete 180. It's like, wow, okay. So I feel like Twitch gonna do the same if they can't figure out a good solution. Would be like a bunch of creators, musicians would be like, hey, don't listen to them. If they're gonna give you trouble, use my music for free. I don't have a problem, and get that song popular. And then if it does, then it's gonna be the same thing where a company's like, oh shoot, that actually is a viable solution. Then Warner Brothers might go to them and say, hey, actually, here's a song list or some new musician we try to push, use this song instead.
Yeah, I just feel like it's such a fine line. I mean, we talk about it before with cancel culture. Is there everything is like a really case by case basis, and to make a sweeping assumption or a sweeping kind of rule about something is so crazy to me, because for example, with Avery, this is her content, and she's not using the music in a way to make money off of other people's IP or off their content. It's just a feature in a game that she is using to play and entertain people, and that music is already in the game, so it's already licensed to that game, and that game, it's just like a very
and again, it's like a small feature part too. Like, let's say for example, you have a figure in your background right now, like a Ruby figure of Yang, and I'm like, technically, I mean, how do they decide, like, all right, we're gonna DMCA strike that now because that is an IP belong to Rooster Teeth and not you, and like that they can't. Yeah,
it becomes it's too much at one point where it's just like, all right, you've created this IP and this media or whatever, this content, and so like people should be using it and sharing it and showing it and spreading it around the world. Like, the only thing this is doing, I'm not making money off the fact that there's a Ruby figure is there. If anything, people are like, oh, what's that? And let me find out about that, and then let me watch the thing or listen to the thing that it's involved in.
And that's why for my photos as well, like sometimes I'm like, I don't understand if I use some graphics or someone use my graphics or use my photos, at which point it is considered a remix. Like for songs, like a remix okay? Or like how does that work? What is sampling, How much percentage is considered sampling, I don't know where I feel we're still very new to the whole digital world. So everything is still figuring that out. Not sure how we're going to put some content on some other. As you said, like, we should find a way to push people content or IP. I mean, technically, cosplay itself could be considered illegal because you are cosplaying a character that's made by somebody.
Right. Yeah. I wonder where the line will be drawn there. Like, if that's going to eventually get out of hand as well.
That's why, ironically, it's actually more okay for cosplayer to cosplay a character and make them very sexy.
Because it changes it enough?
Yeah, change it enough. Because like, let's say you do Mickey Mouse, right? And then you make it really sexy Mickey Mouse. Like Disney can say, hey, that's our IP. It's like, really? Does your Mickey look like this? Like with really sexualized Mickey Mouse? Is that what your Mickey Mouse is? And they can't really say yes because that's not how Mickey is.
There's also something to be said. I think like parody is something that people often bring up, where if you imitate a song or a character or whatever it is, like there's laws that protect you with parody, where you're parodying something or some piece of content in a way that makes it okay because it's transformative or whatever it is. But and also, man, it's a fine line.
Commenting on it is also kind of changes how it works too, right? Because like I think H3 that podcast production made a big thing about it. They were talking about this one video they saw on YouTube, and they were talking over it, about it, commenting on it, and they got sued for it. But they were able to fight in court to say, hey, no, this is us talking about it, and if anything, we're making fun of it too, so that shouldn't be a problem. And they won. So I feel like Twitch is also going to be dealing with that. And I feel like if they really want to be super safe, they would have to be like, hey, these are the games that company allow us to use on this platform, then you can stream on that platform. But it's not a process we have figured out yet.
Again, I think the moral of the story, I think, for this whole talk is just like nothing is black and white, nothing is cut and dry. You can't just assign a way of thinking and a way of doing things to blanket everything. And that, it's got to be diligent. I don't know the right word for it, but it's in my head somewhere.
We're working on it. It's a work in progress. Yeah, everything is. Like this whole quarantine and everything.
Yep.
Anyway,
exactly.
It's awesome. Thank you so much for being on the show. And I love
Thank
to
you
talk
for having
to you.
me.
Always, when was the last time I saw you, actually? I'm sure it was some event.
It was either some event or, man, if it was, we did a photo shoot. I think the only time I've shot with you was when you were in Austin. and Jessica was here, and we did that like creepy with the horns and everything in the field.
Yeah.
What was that shoot? What were they called?
Um,
I don't remember, but it was
Win-
those Wendigo.
something like that. Yeah.
I'm probably butchering that word. I
I think
apologize,
it's
but
Wendigo, yeah.
yeah. And man, that photo. I still am in love with that photo you did, where it was like that surreal me floating / falling photo. I love that so much, and I'm like, man, I gotta shoot with Martin again.
A fun story. I was actually when I was editing that, it's like I wonder what people get. Oh, you get mad. It's like I Photoshop a fake butt to her
Give me all the butt.
because you're wearing a safety shirt.
Definitely back then I was not working out like I am now, so now I actually have a butt, which is great.
Dude, I have no butt. My mom always tell me that. Martin, you need to do more like push up. I don't know, squat. Like she doesn't know what to call. So you need to get a butt. You have no butt. Like thanks, mom. Like,
no buts about it.
yeah, working on it. Anyway, we should shoot again sometimes when things are safer, and we'll see how it goes.
When it's safe, when we could travel, when we could be around other human beings at a safe distance, or even a normal distance, and it's safe.
Yeah, like I'm trying to see when's a good time to ask people to shoot again. I mean, technically, I am staying 6 feet away from them anyway because lens and camera. So.
I think the complicated part is when you start involving like hair and makeup and stuff like that, like other people on set and whatever you have there. Wendigo from Arian R in chat. Thank you. Wendigo is what it's called.
Yep. Thank you so much. Okay, where can people find you?
Well, I'm of course on Rooster Teeth, so you can find me at the Rooster Teeth YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/roosterteeth or roosterteeth.com. We're basically streaming all day, every day over there. I'm on the podcast. I'm on multiple different shows there, but my own personal social media is at @Dunkelman. That's BDUNKELMAN. A lot of people tend to reverse the L and the E, but that's fine. But
wait,
yeah,
how do they spell it? They spell LE.
People do LE a lot, yeah. So they think it's like Dunkel, like LE instead of Dunk L, which is, it's common. It happens all the time. I get it. It's kind of like a typical grammar mistake. But yeah, I'm all over social media, Instagram, Twitter. I do have a YouTube channel that's inactive, but you're welcome to subscribe to it if you want. But yeah, just Rooster Teeth in general. I'm all over there if you want to find me.
I'm glad that you figure out a way to spell it so then you can use it on all social media. Oh, your full name would be a little bit too long.
A little too long, yeah. I think it would be like 20 letters in total or something crazy.
Yeah, I think 13 is the limit for Twitter, so
yeah.
Dunkelman is perfect.
Yep.
All right. Thank you so much, everyone, for watching. And thank you so much for being on the show. This has been fun. Again, we can watch us on Twitch, on YouTube, and listen to it on different podcast platform. But yeah, I'll see you guys next time then. Bye.